Yay, welcome to another Tomato Talk. Sorry, JL2 had a couple issues there, but you know what time it is. It's tomato o'clock, and I'm excited to sit down with JL2 because I feel like we're in a lot of communities together, but we've never actually really gotten to talk, if I remember.
Yeah, I agree. We are, and thank you for having me. That's a cool little jingle you have for your space.
Thanks! I randomly found it, and I'm just going to stick with it until they sue me or tell me to take it down, so going with that. So I don't know if you were able to listen in on any of the tomato talks, but for anyone who's new here, I try to keep it to 19 minutes. It's been a little bit of a struggle because you guys are so much fun to talk to. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to start out with some rapid fire questions, and then we will jump into the topic that I'm excited to hear more about. We'll get into that. So if you're ready, I actually do set a timer, just like because everyone in Web3's got stuff to do. So if you're ready, I'll set that timer.
Ready.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, so they're light questions. You can pass if you want. Just get to know you. What's your favorite movie or TV show right now?
Movie, let's say all time, Scarface with Al Pacino.
Nice. What is the best concert or live event you've ever been to?
Oh, concert for sure. It was called New Year's Evil. It was Ozzy Osbourne and Pantera.
Whoa. Okay, I think. Okay. Wow, we're going back a little bit. We're going back a little bit.
Oh yeah, we rushed the stage. We lit a fire out of shirts on the grass. It was awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay. We might have to have another space just for that talk. If you could instantly master any skill, what would it be?
The guitar.
Really nice. Do you play any instruments right now?
I don't. I don't dance. I don't sing. I don't
Oh,
play instruments. So that's why I envy, music people.
nice. And you can stay unmuted. You don't have to keep muting if that's easier. What's your go-to comfort food?
Tacos.
Nice, nice. Oh, so Taco Tuesday is right up your alley then, right?
Yeah, or everyday
Every
tacos.
day. Oh, okay, every day is Taco Day. What is the one thing people are surprised to learn about you?
I used to rodeo.
What?
Yeah, when I was
Wow.
younger, I did all kinds of rodeo events.
Well, you survived, so congratulations on that.
For sure.
Um, like rodeo, you're like sitting on a bull, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I rode
What?
bulls. I rode broncs. I team roped. I
What?
team penned. I did cutting. Yeah, bunch
Did
of
you
different events.
did you get injured at all?
Not seriously, no. Actually, the first and only bull I rode threw me off and then trampled me. And
What?
when afterwards, I mean, it was nothing broken, right? But you're hurt. It's a big animal, and I was a small person, and I was like, this is not like why do you sign up to do this again? No,
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah. Why? Why? I guess I should
Yeah.
be.
So then I switched to broncs. I did that for a couple of years, and that's just a different kind of pain. And then I decided like try roping and other things that were a little safer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you went to the safer sport kind of.
Yeah.
So how did you get into Web3? Like when did you get into it? Because I don't remember. I think we must have met probably a year and a half, 2 years maybe, I want to say.
Yeah, probably about 2 years
Yeah.
ago. I got into the space a little before that. So I'm going on kind of my third year here, coming up in December. And interesting though. So my hobby before Web3, and it's still a big hobby, is bass fishing. So I'm a fisherman, and was just on the way to the lake with my buddy, and he's like, you're a tech guy. He's like, have you ever heard of an NFT? And I was like, yeah, I have. And at the time, the only concept of an NFT I had was it was art that lived on a blockchain. And I was like, seems cool. I don't collect art today. I don't know why I would collect art in the future. And he's like, well, he goes, my financial advisor is telling me to buy these NFTs, and they're like $10,000. I'm like, what the fuck? It's weird. And so he sent me the names of the projects that his guy was telling him to buy, and I was like, let me look into this, right? And then it's all downhill from there.
I see. So what was the first project you got into then?
Pass.
Okay. I mean, we all have that moment, but
Okay, no,
that's
let me.
fine. You're allowed to pass. It's
I'll
okay.
tell you. I'll tell you. So here's how it went. His financial advisor was telling him to buy Bored Apes, right?
Of course.
And at the time, a Bored Apes were like 10 grand. And
Mm.
so I'm like, yeah, not happening. And so you kind of start going down the list of apes, right? I just went onto OpenSea and searched for apes, and you start seeing the different apes. And then there was this one, they were called Fat Apes. It was the Fat Ape Club. And they were like, I don't know, 50 or 100 bucks. And I'm like, that's more my speed. Like these guys look cool, and everyone likes fat guys. And so I bought the Fat Apes, and yeah, it wasn't a good thing. Kind of rugged out.
I get it. I get it. Okay. So, so what drew you then to Bulls and Apes Project, or how did you get into that?
Yeah. Um, Bulls and Apes, I think so. I then after the Fat Apes, I found Apocalyptic Apes. A little different type of rug there. I think more a failed execution than a rug pull. But Apocalyptic Apes had a whale in it. His name was Manny, and he went on to start his own project, which was Bulls and Apes. So it was kind of a bleed off from, and you'll see a lot of Apocalyptic Ape people in the Bulls and Apes project, and that's how we got drawn over there.
Very cool. Very cool. And that was 2 years ago, or how long is it? 1 year ago?
2.5,
Two
yeah,
and a half, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I know I was kind of like, I think I came in after Mint, if I remember correctly. I wasn't, I'm full on in Duck, so it was hard to keep up with everything. Um, so I guess let's jump into, I hear you're working on something. You want to spill the beans on that?
Yeah, let's do it. So let me give a quick backstory on Bulls and Apes because we are an older project, and I think there's just been a tremendous amount of change that the community should be aware of, right? And so, starting with Manny. So Manny and one of his partners, they had exited a Web 2 company and wanted to start a Web 3 company. And so, for all intents purposes, Manny and Guy were the VCs backing the Bulls and Apes project. And so they had a plan, they had a vision. They, again, just failed to execute. Number of challenges in between, right? Just the Web 3 type challenges, and then they decided to exit. The VCs did, and this was last October, so about 1 year ago. We kind of went, for all intents purposes, CTO, right? Anthony Mongiel, he's still the co-founder and CEO, and we retained our dev team and some other couple other people. But for the most part, the entire Bulls and Apes team was let go. I want to say there was like 60 people working for the project back then. So everyone was let go, and we kind of went more to a CTO model.
Oh, so Anthony is still on then, you're saying?
Yeah, yep.
Oh,
Anthony is
okay.
still our leader and good close friend of mine, and we built a relationship over the years, him and I think one of the coolest things that we just hope to really surprise this community with is our trading card game. So a lot of people don't know because we didn't talk about it a lot, but the trading card game has been there since day one. It's actually what attracted me to the Bulls and Apes project. It wasn't till later on that metaverse was kind of popping, right? Like Other Side had come out. I think the VCs, and that's a challenge with VC backed projects, right? Is the founders, the CEOs, right? The leadership become kind of hostage to the VCs because they own most of the project, right? The VCs wanted to go after this metaverse play. And I think you guys remember, right? The tokenization nightmare. There was Weird Worlds. It was just that was kind of like the start of the downward spiral for us. So we did some stuff. It didn't work, and And we eventually they kind of said, okay, we're done. Well, then when
Oops, JL2, I think I lost
sorry,
you.
sorry,
Oh,
I got it.
okay.
Yeah, I was getting a call. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So yeah, so once the metaverse thing kind of fizzled out, VCs left, we went CTO. That relationship that I had with Anthony played out well because Anthony fought to keep the trading card game as part of the intellectual property and as part of the CTO buyout from the VCs. And so we had the trading card game just kind of sitting there, and Anthony and I talked about a number of different angles. Like, what do we do with this? I mean, at the end of the day, Bulls and Ape we have some phenomenal IP, right? We have over an hour worth of lore that kind of tells our story from start to finish. We have a really, really cool like art upgrade system and hold to earn with tokens. I mean, very similar to some of the stuff the ducks do with burning and collecting and merging things together. And that's because Anthony started off as a duck. That was one of his first projects, and I think he learned a lot from Duckmaster as well. And so yeah, we had some great IP, including this card game, and a good community, and we kind of said like, let's not let all this go to waste, right? I mean, there's definitely something we could do. So we established this entrepreneurship program, like a level up program we call BAP channels. And the way that works is we allow community members to, eventually earn their way and apply into this BAP channel circle where you're getting mentorship from Anthony and some of the others on the team that have, commanded companies. Anthony's a C level for some big insurance company. He's been an exec his whole life, so he's just a good mentor. And we go into this BAP channels, and then we can use IP from the Bulls and Apes project to launch a product, right, or idea. And
And,
that I stepped
and
into that role.
uh-huh.
I
I was just gonna ask you one question on the and was that like you had to have there was a certain bull that you had to have to be part of that group, or is that something separate? Like to get the
no
ship?
no
Oh,
Yeah, no, this is open to everybody in the community. I think, you know, we know, right? Like there's every community has different circles of holders, right? You have holders that are visitors, you have holders that are there to flip, you have holders that, really enjoy the IP, and then you have holders that, are actually trying to build something in this space, right? And so there's a little bit of a process, right? And when I say it's open to the whole community, it's not like someone can just come in and say, "Hey, I want to launch a product," right? There's a process, but we provide the avenue to get there. And I reached out to my friend Brian. I think he should be here. Yeah, down stage, and him and I have partnered on a lot of things for a lot of years, and so we've been figuring out, how do we get this card game, which to our surprise was mostly done. How do we get it to the market, and how do we make it beneficial for the BAP community that's kind of hung in there with us, right? And continue to support us through all of the, trials and tribulations of Web3, right? Bear market and rugs and all kinds of stuff, right? So how do we do that? And so that's kind of been our passion project. Me, Brian, Anthony, few others in the community as well that are helping us. But it's just been a really cool and fun experience.
I love that. And so is it gonna include all the collections? Like I remember there's the teen bull and the god bulls. I can't remember all of them, but
Oh, it's
um,
so awesome. Yeah,
okay.
great question. So the game not only uses all of the Bulls and Apes IP, or not all of it, but I mean, there's Teen Bulls in the game, there's God Bulls in the game, there's the regular Bulls in the game, and then there's Apes as well. So it not only uses our IP, it follows our storyline, but it's also got a lot of subtle kind of Web3 hooks into it, right? Like, for example, the resources that you use to play the game, right? Essentially it's a tabletop. So this is a IRL product that you would play at a table like chess. It's a tabletop strategy game, player versus player. right? What you're trying to do is either eliminate all the points, the health from your opponent, or outlasting your opponent, making him run out of cards. And the primary resource you use to attack and defend is methane. It's a methane resource, right? Which is the same as our ERC20 token.
I
So
remember the token. Yeah.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
a gimmicky marketing thing there, but we've had some fun with it. So yeah, there's a lot of subtle Web3 hooks. You know, where you hold your cards, you're holding them in your wallet. You burn cards as they die, and so for us, we've always been about, you know, even when we go back to metaverse days, I think the 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 BAP community had always been about like how do we create a good experience, because it spawned the BAP community, and some people don't know this backstory either. It spawned out of rug pulls, right? Like I said, Manny was an apocalyptic ape. When he found Anthony and Tank Man, they were from another project called Bulls on the Block, which later Bulls and Apes Project ended up buying. But so since it kind of, since the project itself spawned from like, you know, rug pulls, we always had this ethos of, you know, educating and bringing a good, healthy experience to Web3. And so for us, we really kind of visualize this trading card game as like the top of our funnel. You know, we're going to introduce this to early in career people, collectors, traders, you know, people that are in that circle. You guys would be surprised. The trading card game industry has a very, very, what's the
It's
word? Yeah,
robust. It's very, yeah, I've been to trading card shows and I mean it's insane. I will have to give it to you. And I play some of the game like Exploding Kittens and some of the fun like fun ones that come out. So I'm excited for this. But I'm curious, like, did you use bulls from the community, or I mean, are you using all of them?
not yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
great
Mhm.
question. That is in our plan. So today, the only identifiable character is one of the 101s. So Vile is a 101 in the collection. He's in the game as a legendary, and we are going to work through the royalty licensing for that holder, for the holder that holds Vile. And so, and that's going to be kind of our proof of concept, because as expansion packs come out, you know, we very much want the community to be involved in character development and getting their character into the game, and then, you know, getting some royalties, licensing royalties for using their IP.
That's awesome. So there's definitely, as you said, there's expansion packs coming. So there's like a whole timeline for this thing, right? Like a whole future growth
Well,
potential.
you know,
Mhm.
we're ambitious,
Mhm.
and we're relentless. I mean, what we know right now, is the game is fun. So I kind of tell you where we're at. So when Brian and I took over the game, all of the artwork was done, and all of the game mechanics and rules and everything had been laid out. And so what we didn't know was how to play the game, who does the game tailor to, right? Like what personas and things like that. So we've gone through a couple of rounds of play testing, if you would. So we have cards, you know, decks printed out, and we've kind of been internally, and this is another cool thing about Web3, right? Is we're internally play testing this thing with our community. And what we found out is it's fun. It is a lot of fun. The game plays well. We've had several, because it's very similar to like a Magic the Gathering type gameplay, right? I like to call it a simplified Magic the Gathering. Now, that said, it's still a strategy based game, right? Like on the same level as like a chess game. But yeah, so we know the game is fun, and we know the IP is good, and we have a good plan to, to get it out there to market. But obviously, no one can guarantee success,
Right.
right? And so I
Mhm.
just want to preface that with, we don't have funding to take this game to market yet. We're still determining, or we're still in the process of determining what is that business model. Are we going to look to outside funding? Are we going to try to fund this thing in house? So we have a long ways to go. So I just kind of wanted to preface that for anybody listening. Like, too many people, I've seen too many people get hurt on speculative buys,
Mhm.
right? And I don't want anyone to speculate here. I mean, we are a passionate community. We have some kick butt IP, and we have a fun game. And I think you know, little bit of luck, and we're going to get this thing to market and turn some heads.
Well, I definitely believe it's possible. I mean, I remember just like jumping into Discord, like the passion the Bulls and Apes Project is like it's crazy and I love it and I'm really glad you guys are still around. I honestly didn't know this much was happening, so I'm glad we got to talk about that today. As far as so right now there's no timeline yet on the release, is that correct?
No, we're hoping to a lot of so communities kind of beating us up, right? And we're hoping to deliver a better timeline, like maybe in December. We'd love to be able to have some of the legal things worked out, and because like without the legal stuff in place, like it's hard for us to even entertain investors, right? And the business modeling and all of that stuff. All that stuff needs to happen. And unfortunately, it's cost us. So, like I said, the CTO happened last October. It took a couple of months for the team, the team that did stay, right? Anthony and the devs, and there were a couple of others to kind of find their footing. It took a little time to get the BAP channels established. So we've only been working on the game for a few months, and we put a ton of time into play testing it because what we didn't want to do was try to push a product out to market that just wasn't fun, right? That the
Yeah.
community wasn't going to enjoy. And so we took our time with the internal play testing, but now that that's done, we're full speed ahead trying to get the legal and business side of things tied up. So hopefully in December, we'll give a better idea about how we're going to go to market, the scope at which we're going to go to market, right? Because that matters.
Mhm.
And yeah,
That's awesome. No, I love that. I mean, whenever you guys want to come back and talk about it, if you want to, you're always welcome. We are hitting around that 19 minutes, so I am going to wrap it up. But if you want to leave them with anything, should they go check out, I don't know, collections, whatever you want to leave everyone with, you're welcome to put in some last words if you'd like.
cool. Well, I really enjoyed this. Thanks for having me. Enjoy Web3, guys. Web3 has changed my life. There is so much opportunity here, so many good people. Focus on the good things, try to ignore the bad ones, and stay safe. But thanks.
Thanks, JL2. So this wraps up Tomato Talks for this week. We've had 4 already, and I have 2 more guests coming up next week. I appreciate everyone who stopped by. I am keeping these short, not really letting up questions and speakers right now. Maybe I'll adjust the format in the future, but I know everyone in Web3 is busy, so I'm trying not to do too long of spaces. But I appreciate all of you. If you want to keep following Tomato Talks, please do follow everyone here. Like everyone I see, like I pretty much I feel like I've run into every one of you. So follow each other, follow JL2 so we can figure out when this trading card game comes out. And I will see you on the next Tomato Talks. Thank you guys.
おお。え、これで、セナトマト。え、トマト。トマト。セナトマト。セナトマト。